Growing number of Republican leaders and cabinet officials are reportedly floating the idea of removing Donald Trump from office, as we were talking about. Reports say there are calls for that 25th Amendment to be invoked. That would require Vice President Mike Pence and a majority of Trump's cabinet officials to vote to remove him from office. If impeached, the Senate could vote to disqualify Trump from ever holding federal office again. So let's bring in James Gardner. He's a professor of law at the State University of New York to talk a little bit more about this. So I'd like to get your thoughts on the talk, the discussion about the 25th Amendment, what that is, and what's more likely, that, an impeachment, or a censure?
Wow. Well, I have no idea what's more likely because situation is completely unprecedented. The 25th Amendment was added to the Constitution to deal with cases of presidential inability to conduct the affairs of the office. And so the paradigm here is Woodrow Wilson's illness into his presidency, or FDR's illness that may have prevented him physically from doing the job. So to me, the 25th Amendment doesn't really apply here because I don't think Trump is unable to do his job. People don't like the way he's doing his job, and it's quite objectionable, of course. That said, it's never been invoked, so we don't know really what the parameters of the amendment are, and perhaps it could be used. Impeachment and conviction is a process that's much more well understood, and that could be effectuated by the Congress pretty rapidly. So that's a possibility. So both are at least plausible.
Is there anything that would change his ability to act as president, or any of the powers that he holds from now until, well, I guess, January 20th? And what I mean by that, is there anything that could be done that might be considered so that he can't continue his duties, can't continue to say pardon people or do any of that in the last few days?
No, not really. Not in a way that is compliant with the rule of law. And of course, this is what we've been struggling with for the last 4 years here, is the degree to which an insistence upon the rule of law, which is our tradition, will be continued during this presidency. The only way I can see for something like that to happen is through some really kind of informal and not entirely licit means in which people around Trump subvert him. And that might be it might be patriotic, might be the ethical thing to do. It wouldn't be the legal thing to do.
And in terms of the legality of this, could the president be held criminally responsible for his speech or inciting violence either now or in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, we're really in somewhat uncharted territory. It's possible that he's guilty of treason. Treason is actually the one crime that is defined specifically in the U.S. Constitution, and it consists of levying war against the United States or giving aid and comfort to its enemies. Inciting a violent seizure of the U.S. Capitol might very well count as treason. There are other crimes that the federal criminal code provides. There's a crime of insurrection. There's a crime of seditious conspiracy. So those might possibly apply here as well. I think there is a bigger question, which is, even if a former president could be prosecuted criminally, should he be? There's awful difficult problems about getting